17 Environmental Engineer Most Challenging Job Interview Questions and Professional Answers. Are you ready to tackle the toughest environmental engineering interview questions and walk into your next interview with confidence? Hi, I'm Jabulo, and welcome to Career Stimuli, your go-to channel for unlocking career growth, mastering job interviews, and supercharging your professional journey. If you're serious about taking your career to the next level, you're in the right place. Here, I dive deep into expert tips, industry insights, and real-world strategies to help you stand out and succeed. In this video, I'll reveal the 17 most challenging questions you're likely to face. Plus, I'll share in-depth expert answers that show your technical skills and problem-solving mindset. Whether you're aiming for your first job or climbing the career ladder, this guide will help you stand out and impress hiring managers. Stick around till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss career-boosting tips. Let's dive in. 1. Tell me about yourself. What this question really means. This is your chance to set the tone. Interviewers want a concise but powerful summary of your background, technical expertise, and what makes you a good fit for the role. It's not your life story, it's your elevator pitch tailored to the position. Brilliant answer. I'm a licensed environmental engineer with over 5 years of experience in water resources, remediation, and regulatory compliance. I earned my bachelor's in environmental engineering from University of Natal, and I've led projects involving stormwater management, site remediation, and environmental permitting. I've worked with EPA and state-level regulations, and I'm proficient in tools like GIS, SWMM, and HECRAS. My passion lies in sustainable design, whether that means implementing green infrastructure in urban redevelopment or optimizing energy usage in wastewater treatment systems. I'm looking for a role where I can lead impactful projects and collaborate across disciplines to deliver sustainable outcomes. 2. What is your biggest weakness? What this question really means, they're testing your self-awareness and whether you take initiative to improve. It's not a trap, it's an opportunity to show growth and maturity. Brilliant answer. Early in my career, I struggled with overanalyzing design details, which sometimes slowed down delivery. I realized that perfectionism, while helpful in QA/QC, can impact efficiency. To address this, I started implementing phased reviews and used project management tools like Trello to track deliverables more pragmatically. Now, I balance precision with productivity without compromising technical quality. 3. Describe a time you faced a major challenge in a project. What this question really means, they want to assess how you handle stress, solve problems, and learn from experience. This tests both technical and soft skills. Brilliant answer. On a brownfield redevelopment project, we encountered unexpected contamination, high levels of lead and TCE that weren't in the Phase 1 ESA. This put our timeline and budget at risk. I immediately coordinated with our environmental consultants to conduct supplemental sampling. Then I revised the RAP, Remedial Action Plan, and presented the updated scope to stakeholders. We secured regulatory approval with minimal delay and implemented a combination of soil excavation and in-situ chemical oxidation. It taught me the importance of adaptive planning and proactive communication. 4. How do you stay current with environmental regulations and technologies? What this question really means, they want to see if you take responsibility for your professional growth. The field evolves quickly, so staying informed is critical. Brilliant answer. I stay current by subscribing to environmental science and technology, attending ES and ASE webinars, and completing PDHs annually. I've also taken online courses on PFAS mitigation, LCA, and carbon accounting. I regularly follow EPA updates and participate in local environmental roundtables to stay aware of state-level changes. This habit ensures that my designs are both innovative and compliant. 5. How do you handle conflict in a multidisciplinary team? What this question really means, this evaluates your teamwork and communication skills. In complex projects, conflicts are common, and they want to know if you can resolve them professionally. Brilliant answer. I see conflict as a signal that something in scope or communication needs alignment. On a flood mitigation project, the civil team prioritized cost efficiency while I advocated for ecological value through green infrastructure. I initiated a design charrette to discuss the trade-offs. We ultimately agreed on a hybrid solution combining bioswales with traditional drainage. My approach is to listen actively, validate different perspectives, and use data to guide consensus. 6. Tell me about a time you made a mistake. What this question really means, they want to know how accountable and coachable you are, not whether you're perfect. Brilliant answer. I once used the wrong precipitation return interval in a SWMM model for a site in a flood-prone area, 10-year instead of 25-year. The error was caught during a QA or QC review before final submission. I owned up to it, corrected the model, and added a checklist to our internal review protocol. That mistake taught me the importance of validating assumptions and documentation. 7. Why should we hire you over other candidates? What this question really means, this is your chance to differentiate yourself. They want a confident, focused answer that aligns your strengths with their needs. Brilliant answer. Beyond my technical proficiency, what sets me apart is my systems thinking mindset and stakeholder communication skills. I bring not only the ability to model and design sustainable systems, but also the capability to explain complex environmental impacts to non-technical audiences, from municipal boards to private developers. I've also led multi-agency permitting efforts and maintained compliance in fast-paced, high-stakes projects. I'll bring both execution and leadership to your team. 8. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What this question really means, they want to know if your goals align with the company's growth and whether you're here for the long term. Brilliant answer. In 5 years, I see myself in a senior project manager or environmental planning role, leading multidisciplinary teams on climate resilience or water resource projects. I also plan to earn my ENVSP credential and continue integrating sustainable design into infrastructure. I'm looking for an organization where I can grow technically and contribute to long-term environmental strategy. 9. What's your approach to sustainable design? What this question really means, they're assessing your philosophy and practical methods around sustainability, not just buzzwords. Brilliant answer. My approach blends LCA, life cycle assessment, site-specific BMPs, and green infrastructure. I strive to minimize environmental impact without compromising performance or cost efficiency. For example, I recently used permeable pavement and native vegetation in a parking lot redesign, which reduced runoff by 60% and required minimal maintenance. I also factor embodied carbon and material reuse into my planning. My goal is always to exceed regulatory minimums and deliver long-term environmental value. 10. How do you prioritize competing deadlines? What this question really means, this tests your project management and organizational skills. Can you balance multiple deliverables under pressure? Brilliant answer. I use project management tools like MS Project or ClickUp to map out dependencies and resource allocations. I categorize tasks using the Eisenhower matrix, urgent versus important, and hold regular check-ins with stakeholders. In a recent watershed assessment, I juggled field data collection, modeling, and client reporting by breaking tasks into milestones and sequencing them around environmental constraints like seasonal flow conditions. 11. How do you handle pressure or unexpected changes? What this question really means, they want to know if you're adaptable and resilient, especially in dynamic, high-stakes projects. Brilliant answer. Unexpected changes are common, whether it's permitting delays or changing site conditions. I stay calm and assess the situation quickly. For example, during a landfill gas control project, unexpected groundwater intrusion affected the trenching plan. I collaborated with the geotechnical team, updated the design in AutoCAD, and proposed an alternative routing plan within 48 hours. I also communicated transparently with the client to manage expectations. Adaptability and fast decision-making are key. 12. Describe a successful project you've led. What this question really means, they're looking for a concrete example that shows leadership, technical skill, and positive outcomes. Brilliant answer. I led a stormwater retrofit project in an urban subbasin with outdated infrastructure. The goals were runoff reduction, water quality improvement, and community engagement. I performed hydrologic modeling, designed BMPs like rain gardens and bioswales, and managed stakeholder meetings. The project reduced runoff volume by 45% and was completed under budget. It was later recognized by the city as a model for green infrastructure integration. 13. How do you ensure your designs are efficient and compliant? What this question really means. This question tests your technical process and attention to detail, both design and legal. Brilliant answer. My workflow begins with a thorough regulatory review and feasibility analysis. I perform multiple iterations using tools like Epinet or HEthans to test hydraulic efficiency. Then I cross-check against regulatory thresholds and permitting requirements. I also schedule internal QA or QC reviews and engage third-party audits when needed. By aligning performance goals with code early in the design phase, I reduce change orders and delays. 14. What role does data play in your decision-making? What this question really means. They want to know if your decisions are grounded in analysis, not assumptions. Brilliant answer. Data is fundamental, from environmental sampling and GIS layers to model outputs and stakeholder input. In a recent wetland delineation and restoration project, I used LiDAR data and field observations to map hydrology, then applied that to prioritize restoration zones. Data-driven decisions lead to defensible designs, optimized resource use, and better stakeholder buy-in. 15. Tell me about a time you had to explain technical terms to a non-technical audience. What this question really means. Communication skills matter, especially when working with the public or clients. Brilliant answer. During a public hearing for a detention basin project, residents were concerned about flooding and misunderstood technical jargon. I created a simple 3D model and used analogies like a sponge with a slow leak to describe stormwater detention. The visuals and simplified language helped build trust and minimize opposition. 16. What's the most complex environmental regulation you've dealt with? What this question really means. This tests your regulatory experience and ability to manage complex compliance situations. Brilliant answer. Navigating a NEPA EIS for a highway expansion project was the most complex. It involved CWA Section 404 permits, ESA species assessments, and tribal consultation. I coordinated across multiple agencies, performed cumulative impact analysis, and managed document review schedules. It taught me the value of interagency relationships and clear documentation. 17. Do you have any questions for us? What this question really means. This isn't optional. It's a test of your engagement and whether you're serious about the role. Brilliant answer. Yes, I do have some few questions. Can you tell me more about the types of environmental projects this team is focused on over the next 12 to 18 months? How does your team stay updated with evolving climate resilience and sustainability guidelines? That's the wrap-up. Thanks for watching. Tackling tough interview questions can feel overwhelming, but with the right preparation and mindset, you can turn them into opportunities to showcase your expertise and passion as an environmental engineer. Remember, it's not just about giving the right answers, it's about demonstrating problem-solving skills, clear communication, and a commitment to sustainability. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with fellow engineers, and leave a comment below with your toughest interview question experiences. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on valuable career tips. Good luck with your interviews. You've got this.